The 258th commencement of the University of Pennsylvania will now begin.
Friends, please join me in the spirit of prayer for our invocation. Let us begin this day, O gracious one, by saying thank you. Thank you for these wonderful graduates, for our brilliant faculty, faithful staff members, visionary administrators, loving family and friends that surround us this morning, and for the countless blessings of this past year, blessings both seen and unseen. Thank you for the beauty of our campus in the spring, and for the hands that work hard planting, cleaning, setting up, and beautifying without the gaze of others. Thank you for excellence in our classrooms and for pioneering research, furthering various fields and saving lives. What most eyes don't see are the hours of study and persistent experimentation that goes into this work. Thank you for the lifelong friends that were sitting next to us, and for the late-night conversations, weeks of pledging, dreams and hopes shared in confidence, of adventures turned into inside jokes that have made these relationships what they are. For stage performances that moved us to stand, applaud, weep, and act, and for unseen hours of rehearsal time poured into them. For championship trophies raised in front of large crowds, and for the hard practices in front of no one but encouraging coaches. Thank you for the innovation and creativity seen at events like Senior Design Day and Pen Apps, and for the napkins that these ideas were first written down on. For short white coats that have now grown to full resident and doctor length, and for the classes and rotations that grew them. Thank you for the nurses, vets, teachers, and social workers that we'll see in hospitals, clinics, and schools and nonprofits every single day. And thank you for the unseen but surely felt compassionate hearts within them. For our dental students and those humongous toothbrushes we see today. And thank you for the countless lives that they'll humbly improve every day. For the buildings and cities that'll be built and improved by our School of Design grads, and for the plans that few will see, but all will benefit from. Thank you for the art that these graduates will produce, and for the hours of writing, painting, sculpting, and loving. For cases won and laws changed, and for the quiet pro bono work that does not get celebrated. Thank you for the awardees who will stand in recognition today, and for the teams of friends and colleagues who've journeyed with them. And thank you for the families that we see around us this morning, and for our loved ones whom we don't see, but are close by nonetheless. And thank you for this magnificent graduating class, for all that they've done and all that they are. Graduates, we see you, and we're thankful for the sight before our eyes. Amen.
Good morning, and please take your seats. It's my pleasure to introduce Penn President Amy Gutman.
Wow. Welcome, everyone, to the 258th commencement of the University of Pennsylvania. Members of the class of 2014, today you become our newest Penn alumni. Bravo! We celebrate your achievement with pomp and ceremony, with speeches and salutations, and of course, with music. Every Penn commencement ever held has included music, and for good reason. Music marks the defining moments of our lives. We connect certain songs to our happiest memories, to our heartbreaks, and to the history of our time. Song by song, we construct a soundtrack to our lives. Consider, for instance, how you felt on move-in day your freshman year.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we have your attention, please? An emergency weather condition exists. For your protection,
Or those days when you were juggling classes and exams and OCR. Or your crushing disappointment when classes were canceled due to snow. But the soundtrack of our life is not something that simply happens to us. Each of us also composes it by the choices we make, the places we go, and the people we meet. It is the history of our memorable experiences made audible. The most memorable moments of the soundtrack of my life revolve around three themes: freedom, community, and courage. Freedom. I was a teenager during the great human rights movements of the 1960s. Martin Luther King led a march on Washington and proclaimed a mighty dream. Gloria Steinem inspired a new wave of feminism. The gay community stood up to police raids in the Stonewall riots. Everywhere, including in my own school and small town, I could hear the once voiceless taking up the call for what is the first and foremost ingredient of human freedom. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, T-F-T-C-T. Only when we engage one another with respect can we all be free. Respect enables the overcoming of prejudices and the opening of our minds to new life-affirming possibilities. When respect takes root, freedom flowers. When I joined the nonviolent civil rights movement, there were those who thought we could change the world in one fell swoop.
Say you want a revolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world.
But the true revolutionaries I've met have not been armed with guns or bombs. They have armed themselves with irresistible ideas. Ideas that erode prejudice, through their power. No individual in our lifetime demonstrated this power more successfully than Nelson Mandela. When he passed away late last year, we said goodbye to one of the greatest champions of freedom the world has ever known. I had the life-changing honor of meeting him, and I shall always cherish his supreme song of freedom. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. This great man suffered imprisonment and torment for 27 years. He led a tough liberation struggle against often ruthless oppressors. Yet he taught us that freedom comes by the ways we engage one another with respect. As Penn graduates, you exemplify the ethos of talent coupled with drive and determination. It's what you've got. It's called grit. That's the essential ingredient in individual success. But we gritty individuals must never forget that we are truly successful and free only together. Community, a great community, indeed a beloved community, has been key to success in my life, as it will be in all of yours. It's the Penn community, the community of great faculty who bring out the best in their students. It's the community and the commitment of passionate students who make the most of their Penn education and create friendships that last a lifetime. It's the commitment of loving Penn parents and families, amazing Penn parents and families. It's the commitment of dedicated Penn staff who make our lives run well day in and day out. And it's the commitment of accomplished alumni who have made the Penn community what it is today. It's the Penn community that has made my lifelong ideal of increasing access to the best education not merely a vision, but a reality, so we can be proud that the University of Pennsylvania is the largest university in America to be all grant, no loan for all of its undergraduates with financial need. In my downtime, and make no mistake, we all have down times, it was the Penn community that taught me how important it is not just to give to others, but also to accept support from others. It's not enough just to lean in. We also need to learn and to help our friends to do something else.
Lean on me, when you're not strong. Lean on me, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on.
Today, I want to express a special appreciation to this class for the way you have bonded as a beloved community, the way you have both learned from and leaned on one another. You've grown with people from all walks of life and every part of the globe. Together, we have learned so many things.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style.
Not everything Penn is edifying. Being Penn graduates, you know this critically important insight. To succeed at the truly big things, like freedom and community, it takes something extra. It takes what great liberators like Nelson Mandela taught us.
Say what you wanna say, and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say.
Courage. Courage can mean facing down historic oppression and stepping into the line of fire. But no less life-changing are the small braveries, the everyday braveries, the courage of coming out, of being your honest self, of speaking your mind with integrity, all the more so in those moments when others stay silent. Our soundtracks need a song that reminds us just how exhilarating it feels to stand up for who you really are.
You just gotta ignite the light and let it shine. Just own the night like the 4th of July. 'Cause baby, you're a firework.
Graduates, there is nothing greater than the joy of composing the soundtrack of our lives, listening to it, and sharing it with others. Composed with freedom and courage, and shared throughout our beloved community, the soundtracks of our lives join us together in a spirit that words, without the wonders of music, cannot possibly capture. So, accompanied by the wonderful music of our own Penn graduate and honored commencement speaker, John Legend, I ask everybody here to do one more thing.
Give your all to me. I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning.
I ask everybody here to stand together, moms and dads, spouses and partners, grandmas and grandpas, family and friends, our honored guests, rise, my fellow trustees and family. Please stand with me and give your all in showing just how proud we are of our 2014 Penn graduates, all of us together.
Of you. Oh.
As Provost, it is my great pleasure to acknowledge the many awards and distinctions accorded our faculty and students this year. Their achievements, many of which are listed in your commencement program, bring honor both to them and to the university and deserve our full recognition. I urge your special attention to those members of the faculty who have been honored for their teaching. The 8 recipients of the Lindback Teaching Award, the 4 recipients of the Provost's Awards, and those faculty who have been accorded teaching awards from their schools and departments. I would also like to recognize those members of the faculty who have stepped down after many years of distinguished service. These dedicated scholars have devoted their careers to the acquisition of knowledge and have shared their wisdom and insights with students, inspiring them in their own intellectual pursuits. Faculty members who have retired after a lifetime of scholarship and teaching, exemplify the high ideals to which all of us in the university aspire. Several members of the class of 2014 have distinguished themselves in their academic studies and in their service to the university. I will first name those receiving senior class awards and leadership awards, and then acknowledge those receiving academic honors. Please stand when I announce your name and remain standing until I have completed the list. And I ask the audience to please hold your applause until all the recipients have been announced. Those receiving senior class honor awards are Lindsay W. Tsai, the Althea K. Hottle Award; Urja Middle, the Gaylord P. Harnwell Award; Natalie M. Reamer, the David R. Goddard Award; Tanya V. Chavez, the Arjean Brownlee Award; Marcus M. Mundy, the Spoon; Ethan R. Jones, the Bowl; Pulak Mittal, the Cane; and Jonathan E. Rosenbaum, the Spade. Those receiving leadership awards are Paulo B. Bautista, Asian Alumni Network Student Leadership Award; Alyssa F. Barron, Association of Alumni Father's Trophy; Anna Maria Garuccio, Association of Alumni Robert J. Alig Senior Award; Catalina Angelica Ramos, Association of Latino Alumni Student Leadership Award; Robert Harold No Martin, Association of Native Alumni Student Leadership Award; Mohaja El-Tajani, Black Alumni Society Student Leadership Award; Simone Saran Lee Stern, James Brister Society Student Leadership Award; John Rhodes Worster, Class of 1915 Award; Dawn H. Androphy, Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender Alumni Society Student Leadership Award; and Nicholas Bocardi, William A. Levy Kite and Key Award for Service and Scholarship. The winners of the Saul Feinstone Undergraduate Award are Abigail J. Cleva, Joy Lee, Reginald S. Stewart, and Nicole A. Woon. The winners of the Penn Alumni Student Award of Merit are Julio Herman Arias Castillo, Dow Jock, Daniel Judd, Jody Miller, and Will Smith. The Penn Student Agencies Award goes to Gioni Y. Pounce. The Trustees Council of Penn Women, Michelle Huber and Brian D. Giles Award goes to Nicole Woon. The Trustees Council of Penn Women Student Leadership Award goes to Carolina Angel. And the James Howard Weiss Memorial Award goes to Michelle I. Ho. Please join me in applauding these outstanding young men and women. You may be seated. Now, I would like to acknowledge those who have been elected to the principal, undergraduate, and graduate honor societies. Please stand as I name each society. Phi Beta Kappa, Omicron Kappa Upsilon, Matthew Cryer Honor Society, Eta Kappa Nu, Tau Beta Pi, Alpha Omega Alpha, Sigma Theta Tau, Phi Zeta, and Beta Gamma Sigma. Will all those students who are the recipients of various prizes and awards granted by their schools and departments, and those who by their academic accomplishments have earned scholarships for advanced study, please also rise. I ask the audience to join me in applauding these outstanding young men and women.
Greetings, class of 2014. I am Claire Finkelstein, incoming chair of the Faculty Senate. I have the honor of addressing you on behalf of the 4,464 faculty of the University of Pennsylvania, and this speech is my first official duty. Now, in case you think that students are the only ones who receive assignments, I should share with you that I too have an assignment. I am first to offer some sage words of advice to the graduating class, and second to mention Benjamin Franklin in the process. Well, I've just accomplished the second of my two assignments. Now on to the first. I graduated college 28 years ago. My youngest child will graduate college 13 years from now, and your children will start graduating college roughly 22 years from now. The last of your children will graduate roughly 45 years from now. Some of you will be sitting right here watching your children, the class of 2059, do the same thing you are doing today. As you smile at them and see their beaming faces turn toward you, you may find yourselves reflecting on how much has changed since your graduation day and how much has stayed the same. What has changed? Well, 28 years ago, in 1986, the first emails were just starting to circulate among a few nerds in Boston and Silicon Valley. I went through college thinking I had the latest and greatest of typewriter technologies because it had the ability to autocorrect up to 5 spaces. It was also the year the Space Shuttle Challenger disintegrated upon takeoff, the year of the worst disaster ever at a nuclear facility, as well as the first syndicated airing of the Oprah Winfrey Show. Pre-9/11 generation that we were, we thought of terrorism as something that happened elsewhere, and the idea that executive branch officials might have access to our personal letters, telephone calling patterns, and financial records would have sounded, to us like a Saturday Night Live send-up of a bad sci-fi flick. As you sit here today, it is equally difficult for you to imagine the day you will receive your first Mother's Day flowers by drone delivery. What has stayed the same? Most of you have a 5-year horizon for thinking about your futures, as I did the day I graduated. Human beings are hardwired to focus disproportionately on their immediate welfare, as the philosopher Thomas Hobbes so eloquently pointed out over 300 years ago. But what that inveterate bachelor didn't know is that having your own children tends to work a dramatic change on human psychology. Because when you imagine the lives of the children you love, and the children they will have who they will love, and the grandchildren they and their children will love, you can no longer imagine a future world without your children or their children somewhere in it. And when you fully face this thought, those not yet inexistent facts of your children's worlds will take on new significance, as they will determine the steepness of the path your loved ones must take to realize their most fervent hopes for their own futures. For the faculty at the University of Pennsylvania, you are our intellectual children. Your future paths as professional leaders will be the coming to fruition of the education we have sought to extend to you, combined with your own creativity and hard work in receiving and continuing it. On this day, we pass the torch to you. You will help shape the lives not only of your own children, but of those aspiring young people who will look up to you as teachers, mentors, role models, and moral leaders. It is a heavy responsibility you bear, but it is also a great opportunity. An opportunity to make the lives of future generations better, more fulfilling, more inspired, and more inspiring for others. As any parent or teacher knows, there is no greater reward than improving opportunities for those who follow in your footsteps. And this is why we, the faculty, share with your parents, your relatives, your friends, the pride and satisfaction they feel as they watch you graduate today. So now, what about my first assignment, to give you some sage advice? For the sake of brevity, I'll content myself with this. The way to live up to the responsibilities you now acquire is to be the teacher and parent to yourself that others were or wish they had been to you. Nourish and cultivate yourselves and your futures as you would those of your children. To love and cherish yourself is a responsibility, but it is also the greatest of opportunities. And by the way, that guy, Benjamin Franklin, I mentioned earlier, is reputed to have said something along these lines. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. Keep learning, class of 2014, and come back and see us every once in a while. We will remember you and will rejoice in your future successes. Thank you and congratulations.
The honorary degrees will now be conferred. This is a Penn tradition that dates back to the 1750s. The full text of each citation is included in your commencement program. Eugenio Calebi. An inquisitive child, you learned the magic of mathematical derivatives at your father's knees. Your deep curiosity led to a lifetime of discovery. In 1954, you developed the Calabi conjecture. Acclaimed in mathematical circles, the conjecture's influence would be felt 25 years later in theoretical physics, underpinning the development of string theory and helping us imagine astonishing possibilities for what might lie beyond our known dimensions of time and space. Your arrival here at Penn in 1964 sparked a new era for mathematics at Penn. You reshaped our department and you recruited eminent faculty. With a wealth of lifetime achievement, you remain profoundly influential in Penn mathematics, attending seminars and chalkboard at hand, talking shop. For your devotion to the university and your visionary contributions to mathematics and the sciences, the trustees of the University of Pennsylvania are honored and pleased to confer upon you, Eugenio Calabi, the degree of Doctor of Sciences, honoris causa. Janetta Betch Cole. You told new graduates to be bodacious. Speak up and speak out on what is important to you and what is important in the world. You have enriched our society immeasurably by following your own advice. An anthropologist by training, you began college at the age of 15. In your scholarly career, you served as a highly regarded faculty member and president of not one but two historically black women's colleges. The first African-American woman to lead Spelman College, you led Bennett College for Women thereafter. You garnered critical funding and you strengthened academics at both great institutions. As director of the National Museum of African Art, you promote understanding of humanity's African roots with provocative exhibits and great community outreach. For your contribution to education and for courageously addressing issues of race and gender, the trustees of the University of Pennsylvania are honored and pleased to confer upon you, Janetta Betch-Cole, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
I am so proud. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Provost. Thank you.
Edna Adan Ismail. Your life's work has been an absolutely urgent and highly skilled labor of love. Life-saving birth attendance and care for women and children in your homeland, Somaliland. In 1997, you became the first and only woman minister in the new government of Somaliland, and you later served as its first woman foreign minister. You used your pension funds to open the Edna Adan Maternity Hospital, and then the Edna Adan University Hospital to train hundreds of midwives, nurses, lab technicians, and pharmacists. To date, over 14,000 babies have been safely delivered at your facilities. And the number of women and newborns receiving quality postnatal care, maybe a little of that too, postnatal care has risen dramatically. You also tirelessly champion the eradication of female genital mutilation. For your contributions, on behalf of countless women and children, the trustees of the University of Pennsylvania are honored and pleased to confer upon you, Edna Adan Ismail, the degree of Doctor of Sciences, honoris causa. John Legend. A child prodigy, you were already an accomplished musician when you arrived on Penn's campus as a freshman in our College of Arts and Sciences. Today, you are one of the world's best-known recording artists with chart-topping success and amazing 9 Grammy Awards. But for you, success underscored an even deeper passion, your conviction that all children must receive a quality education. Your song, Show Me, gave birth to your Show Me campaign, your work for sustainable changes to provide children with quality education and to break the crushing cycle of poverty. Show Me partners with local organizations in Africa to provide clean water, health care, and education. You have performed on behalf of the victims of Hurricane Katrina and the Haitian earthquake, and you have partnered to benefit the Global Fund for AIDS and to aid those stricken with tuberculosis and malaria. For your soul-stirring music, your uplifting spirit, and your unflagging activism to end educational inequality, the trustees of the University of Pennsylvania are pleased to confer upon you, John Legend, the degree of Doctor of Music, honoris causa. Raymond G. Perlman. engagement, and philanthropic leadership. You demonstrate the true meaning of community by sharing your gifts for the betterment of your neighbors. You give your time unstintingly on behalf of Philadelphia and are a devoted Penn citizen and a proud Penn parent and Penn grandparent. With Ruth, your greatly missed partner of 70 years, you supported so many who work to heal the body and nourish the soul. You made the largest single gift in Penn's history, permanently endowing the Raymond and Ruth Perlman School of Medicine. Your gift will continue to increase student scholarships, continue to recruit outstanding faculty, and continue to support life-saving research for generations to come. For your lifetime of extraordinary leadership and service on behalf of all the people of Philadelphia and beyond, the trustees of the University of Pennsylvania are honored and pleased to confer upon you, Raymond G. Perlman, the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Olympia J. Snow. The first woman in American history to serve in both houses of Congress and both houses of a state legislature, you demonstrated that crafting a good compromise is often the best way of advancing one's principles in politics. Your 40-year career in Congress was legendary for your ability to reach across the aisle and for your mentorship of junior legislators. You co-chaired the Congressional Caucus on Women's Issues and made women's well-being a priority. You championed legislative protection against workplace discrimination, violence against women, and gender inequity in NIH-funded research. Now, through Olympia's list, citizens support those who are willing to reach across party lines to address our nation's most pressing issues. In recognition of your lifetime of exemplary public service and your lifetime of devotion to our country, the trustees of the University of Pennsylvania are honored and pleased to confer upon you, Olympia J. Snow, the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. George A. Weiss. You exemplify leadership by helping others through education to achieve success. In 1987, you promised academic support and tuition for college or vocational training for 112 students at Belmont Elementary School in one of Philadelphia's most disadvantaged neighborhoods. The Say Yes to Education Foundation was born. Nearly 65,000 Say Yes students and their families have received academic support and free tuition. Your passionate commitment to the red and blue is likewise legendary. Your visionary leadership extends across our beloved university, from undergraduate financial aid to university professorships to Franklin Field's Weiss Pavilion. A Penn trustee since 1988, you served as the board's vice chair and as chair of Penn's phenomenally successful Making History campaign. In recognition of your transformative leadership, selfless generosity, and passionate advocacy for educational success, the trustees of the University of Pennsylvania are honored and pleased to confer upon you, George A. Weiss, the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. I ask everybody to give one more round of applause to this amazing group of honorary degree recipients.
As Provost, I have the honor of introducing our guest speaker today. Some of you may know that just over a year ago, a special concert was held here in Penn Park to celebrate the end of our Making History campaign. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate that day, and the main attraction left the stage before he was finished. We were pretty certain that as a Penn graduate, he had a lot more to say. So we invited him back. And honestly, not just to get that selfie. I'm thrilled to have a front row seat as we welcome Grammy Award-winning singer and composer John Legend. John Legend's career trajectory could be described as traditional, assuming that tradition dictates a degree from Penn and then a job at Boston Consulting, followed by gigs with Kanye West, Jay-Z, The Roots, work with Quentin Tarantino, and 9 Grammy Awards before age 35. I can only imagine his parents' disappointment. From his earliest years, his life was filled with music. At age 4, when most kids are banging away on a plastic Fisher-Price, he played an actual piano. By 7, he was performing in his church choir. At Penn, he led counterparts to the finals of the International Championship of Intercollegiate A Cappella. In 2000, the year after he graduated, he returned to campus to give a concert. A daily Pennsylvanian article at that time noted that Stevens, his family name, we might call it his pen name, performed to a crowd of 100, described by the paper as respectable. Barely 6 years later, he performed to another pretty respectable crowd at the Super Bowl. And later that year, he paid his respects to Big Bird on Sesame Street. How does one achieve such a high level of success so quickly? Not Facebook, focus. Even as he worked in the financial industry, John Legend was determined to make it in the music business. He wrote and recorded. He played sessions and sang backup. He worked small clubs in Philadelphia and New York. As he noted to the DP, quote, "There's no formula to it. You can't just decide, I can make a hit. You never know what anybody else wants. You just have to keep making art that you think is true and authentic." All the while, he remained focused on his goal. Success, to be sure, yet even more than that, to create something he was proud of and felt connected to. As it happens, these might be apt descriptions of his feelings about Penn. Graduates, as you prepare to leave, I hope you can share that pride and that connection. Please join me in welcoming John Legend.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the provost for that introduction. Good morning. And congratulations. Now I'll try to be brief this morning. As a musician, this is about 10 hours before I normally go to work, so I'm going to need a nap soon. And you've also got degrees to receive. And I also have a feeling some of you are already tired of me. The thing about pop radio in America, somehow they've scientifically determined that the public is only capable of liking the same 10 songs at any given time. So they simply play those songs over and over and over and over until you're finally completely exasperated. Then they move on. Now, I've had a 10-year career as a major label solo artist, and none of my songs has ever been one of those 10 songs until this moment. And now, all of you are so over me. You're tired of hearing that I went to Penn. Why'd they bring him back again? That was my humble brag way of saying I have the biggest song in the country right now. But honestly, I am truly humbled and honored and grateful to be here at the commencement of the University of Pennsylvania, one of the finest universities on the planet. I first visited this campus as a high school senior named John Stevens in 1995, 19 years ago. And I would have never thought at that moment that I would be standing here as John Legend speaking to you today. The reason I'm here, the reason I've had such a wonderful journey so far, is that I found love. Yes, love. We were all made to love, and I found that we live our best lives. We are at our most successful, not simply because we're smarter, or because we hustle harder, not because we become millionaires more quickly. The key to success, the key to happiness is opening your mind and your heart to love, spending your time doing things you love and with people you love. My life could have gone differently though. At first I had a pretty good childhood. I grew up in a small blue-collar city called Springfield, Ohio. I was surrounded by family, including 2 loving parents who cared so much about our education that they homeschooled us for several years during grade school. And they took the time to teach us more than just academics. They taught us about character, about what it meant to live a good life. My father often talked to us about his definition of success. He told us that it wasn't measured in money and material things, but it was measured in love and joy and the lives you're able to touch, the lives you're able to help. And my parents walked the walk. They gave of themselves to our church. They took in foster kids and helped the homeless, even though we didn't have much money ourselves. Growing up in the Stevens house also meant you were immersed in art and music and encouraged to be creative. We had a piano and a drum kit in the house. I begged to take piano lessons when I was 4. I started singing in the church choir and in school plays by the time I was 7. I fell in love with music at a very young age. My family was like a model family in our church and our local community. My parents were leaders, raising intelligent, talented kids in a loving environment. We even had a little singing group called the Stevens 5. But things started to fall apart when I was 10. My maternal grandmother passed away that year when she was only 58 years old, and her death devastated my family. She was our church organist, and on Sundays after church, I would go to her house just to hang out with her. She would make chicken and collard greens and cornbread, and she would teach me how to play gospel piano. She was one of my favorite people on the planet. She and my mother were also very close, and her death sent my mother into a deep depression that eventually tore my family apart. My mother disappeared into over a decade of drugs and despair after my parents got divorced, and I was confused and disoriented. After the initial shock of my family breaking apart, my outward response wasn't very emotional. I coped by being stoic and seemingly unaffected. I thought if I didn't expose myself to any more pain and vulnerability, I could never get hurt. If I didn't fall in love, no one could ever betray me like that again. I busied myself with schoolwork and lots of activities and tried not to think too much about my family situation, tried to avoid pain whenever possible. A big reason I only applied to colleges on the East Coast was to make sure I had no reminders of home in my daily life. The only thing I allowed myself to really love without reservation was music. I put all of my passion into it. I spent so much of my spare time working on it that I barely got any sleep. At night, I was doing community choir, show choir, and musicals in high school, a cappella and church choir here in college. I wrote my own songs, played in talent shows. I put a lot of energy into becoming a better artist, a better writer, and a better performer. And in some ways, it made me a better student and a better leader, because when you actually care about something, you want to lead. Apathy's not so cool anymore. When I graduated from Penn, I had many of the traditional opportunities in front of you now. And I took a job at the Boston Consulting Group, as he said. But I couldn't shake my passion for music. I followed that path that the Penn graduate was supposed to take, but I didn't fall in love. I immediately started thinking about how I could leave BCG and become a full-time musician. I spent hours during the day preparing PowerPoint presentations and financial models. And I spent almost as many hours at night writing songs and performing at small gigs around New York and Philadelphia. I always believed that my big break would come sooner rather than later. In fact, for 6 years, from 1998, while I was still at Penn, to early 2004, I spent each of those 6 years always thinking that I would get that big record deal within the next few months. I always thought my moment was just around the corner, but I was rejected by all the major labels. Some of them rejected me multiple times. I played for all the giants of the business, Clive Davis, L.A. Reid, Jimmy Iovine, you name it, I played for them, and all of them turned me down. But I did find a young producer from Chicago named Kanye West who believed in me. Kanye happened to be the cousin of my good friend Devon Harris, a classmate and roommate of mine here at Penn. Devon introduced me to Kanye in 2001, and we've been working together ever since. Our collaboration has been a huge part of my career, and it had a lot to do with me finally getting a major recording contract in 2004. Now, Kanye and I have very different personalities, as you might have guessed. But what unites us is our true love for music and art. We love to create. And at no point in our creative process do we stress about what's going to sell or what's already popular. We think about making something beautiful, something special, something we can be proud of. We truly do this because we love it. We put all of ourselves into it. And it turns out that love requires that level of commitment from you. Half doing it is not doing it right. You have to go all in. And yes, your personal relationships require that too. I know what it's like to be all ego in your 20s. I know what it's like to be selfish and just focus on your immediate wants and desires. I know what it's like to protect your heart from pain and disappointment. I know what it means to be all about the rat race and winning. But years from now, when you look back at your time here on earth, your life and your happiness will be way more defined by the quality of your relationships, not the quantity. You'll get much more joy out of depth, not breadth. It's about finding and keeping the best relationships possible with the people around you. It's about immersing yourself in your friendships and your family. It's about being there for people you care about and knowing that they'll be there for you. I know it's not easy to go all in on love. I'm 35 and I'm married and I'm still learning how to do this completely. But I found someone who makes me want to try, someone who makes me want to take that risk, and it's made all the difference. Now, I've already talked about the power of love in your work and in your personal lives, but I also want to talk about how love changes the world. There are 7 billion other people out there, 7 billion strangers. I want you to consider what it means to love them too. What does it mean to love people we don't know? To see the value in every single person's life. Think about that. It's a pretty radical notion. It means your daughter or son, your neighbor's daughter or son, and the daughters and sons of people who live thousands of miles away all deserve the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It means we let go of fear and we see each other's humanity. It means we don't see Trayvon Martin as a walking stereotype, a weaponized human. We see him as a boy who deserves the chance to grow into a man, even if he makes boyish mistakes along the way. It means that American lives don't count more than Iraqi lives. It means we see a young Palestinian kid not as a future security threat or demographic challenge, but as a future father, mother, and lover. It means that the nearly 300 kidnapped girls in Nigeria aren't just their problem, they're our girls too. It's actually quite a challenge for me and quite a challenge for you to love humankind in this way. Professor Cornell West gives us a word for what that kind of love looks like in public. That word is justice. If you're committed to loving in public, it requires that you believe in justice, that you open your eyes to injustice, that you see the world through the eyes of another. This is not a passive activity. You have to read. You have to travel to other neighborhoods, other parts of the world. You may have to get your hands dirty. You have to allow people to love you, and you have to love them back. My team and I met a young girl named Rose from a small, impoverished village in Ghana. Now, when you're working with development organizations and visiting the communities they work in, you're not really supposed to single out one child to fall in love with. You're supposed to stick to the program and focus on the interventions that lift the community as a whole. But we couldn't help it. We fell in love with Rose. Something about the spark in her eyes and her indomitable spirit made us want to go the extra mile to help her. So we decided to use our funds to sponsor her tuition to secondary school. We stayed in touch with her over the past 7 years. And we're so proud to see what she's done individually. But we're also happy that she inspired us to formalize and expand our scholarship program to many girls in communities like hers throughout Africa. Communities where the parents often invest in the boys' secondary education, but do not do the same for the girls. In my travels around the world, I've looked in the eyes of many young girls and boys from Africa to Southeast Asia to South Central to Harlem, kids who have had big dreams and needed someone to believe in them and invest in their future, in their education. What would our schools look like if we were committed to love in public? If we cared about every kid in our school system, we would make sure they didn't go to school hungry. We would make sure they had proper health care and counseling. We would make sure they had excellent teachers in every classroom. We would make sure we weren't unfairly suspending them and criminalizing them for minor behavioral problems. And we'd make sure all of them had the resources they need. Every religion has this idea of philanthropy, love for mankind at its core. But you shouldn't do this just to make sure you get into the pearly gates. Look at the work of Marty Seligman here at Penn, who has literally written the book on happiness. Look at the work of Adam Grant, whom I hear is the most highly rated professor here at Penn. He has the data to show that giving works. There's an increasing body of research and knowledge that tells us that living a life of love and compassion is the true path to success and contentment. So what's going to stop you? What's going to stand in your way? What's going to keep you from achieving your success? What will prevent you from going all in on love? We're taught when we're young that the opposite of love is hate. But it's not. Hate is a byproduct. Hate is a result. Being a hater isn't cool. Nobody wants that. But hate comes from one thing: fear. And fear is the opposite of love. It's not a coincidence that when we talk about bigotry, we often talk in terms of fear. Homophobia, xenophobia. Fear is what blinds us. Fear is corrosive. Fear makes us hold back. It whispers to us, tells us that we'll fail. It tells us that our differences are too much to overcome. Fear locks us in place. It starts fights. It causes wars. And fear keeps us from loving. Even though we're made to love, we're often afraid to love. We're afraid of being hurt deeply, afraid of feeling the pain I went through when my parents were divorced. But you're never going to really love something or someone unless you put those fears aside. Don't hold back. Being in love means being ready to give freely and openly, and being ready to risk something, risking pain and disappointment, conquering your fears and becoming anew. Alice Walker once said, "The more I wonder, the more I love." Love calls you to open your eyes, to seek, to search, to wonder. Love is all-consuming. It infiltrates your body. It allows you to experience bliss, joy, and true friendship. You'll be more disappointed when something goes wrong. You might fall harder. But the only way you'll reach any height in life and in love is by taking that chance that you might fall. You have to give your all. Yes, I've been not so subtly working in my song lyrics in my speech today. And some might think it's all a bit too much. Here I am, this R&B singer with an album called Love in the Future, who's recently married and wrote the biggest love song of the year. And what did I choose to talk about? Love. It's so corny, isn't it? It's much cooler to be detached and apathetic, right? We all like a little snark and cynicism and irony, especially from our favorite artists and comedians and writers. I get it. But that cool detachment only gets you so far. Passion gets you a lot further. It makes you a better entrepreneur, a better leader, a better philanthropist, a better friend, a better lover. I want you to live the best life you can. You can be world changers. When you leave here today, you're going to look for a lot of things: security, money, friendships, sex, all kinds of things. But the most important thing you'll find is love. So love yourself, love your work, love the people around you. Dare to love those who are different from you, no matter where they're from, what they look like, and who they love. Pursue this life of love with focus and passion, ambition and courage. Give it your all, and that will be your path to true success. Congratulations to the class of 2014, and thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Degrees in course will now be conferred. Presentations will be made by the deans, and candidates are requested to stand when presented by the dean and to take their seats when the president has conferred their degrees.
On behalf of the School of Arts and Sciences, I ask the candidates for the following degrees, as I call them, to rise and remain standing. Master of Science in Applied Geosciences, Master of Applied Positive Psychology, Master of Environmental Studies, Master of Liberal Arts, Master of Medical Physics, Master of Science in Organizational Dynamics, Master of Philosophy, Master of Public Administration, Bachelor of Fine Arts, and last, but certainly not least, candidates for the Bachelor of Arts in the College of Arts and Sciences and the College of Liberal and Professional Studies.
Graduates,
Madam President, before you stand the recipients of the finest liberal arts education in the world. Armed with their analytical skills, their creativity, and their passion, they are poised to lead the world and make it a better place.
graduates, your multidisciplinary achievements and the unlimited possibilities in your future make you fitting heirs of our founder, Benjamin Franklin, and Franklin's University. With the authority vested in me by the trustees, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to these degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Pennsylvania.
I ask the candidates in the School of Engineering and Applied Science for the degrees of Bachelor of Applied Science, Bachelor of Science in Engineering, Masters of Science in Engineering, Masters in Biotechnology, Masters in Computer and Information Technology, Masters in Integrated Product Design, and Masters in Computer Graphics and Game Technology. Please stand. Madam President, technology is a powerful vehicle that takes us to a better future. These young Penn engineers are nothing short of Formula One drivers. I give you the Penn Engineering class of 2014.
Graduates, may you use your Penn Engineering education to better all of our lives by making possible the things we don't yet know we can't live without. With the authority vested in me by the trustees, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to those degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Pennsylvania. Congratulations.
Madam President, it gives me great pride to present the next generation of innovative thought leaders, the graduates of the world-renowned Wharton School. These women and men have been educated at the finest business school on the planet, and similar to Joseph Wharton, for whom the school is named, they're committed to putting their knowledge into action and achieving a positive impact on the world.
Thank you. Before, I'm going to take presidential privilege here and ask you all to join me in thanking the Dean of the greatest business school in the world, the dean under whom, for the first time in Wharton's illustrious history, the Wharton School has been ranked #1 in MBA, in executive education, and in undergraduate education. Dean Tom Robertson. Graduates, prosperity, peace, and plenty, may you help us achieve the first, so we all may also enjoy the other two. With the authority vested in me by the trustees, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to those degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Pennsylvania. Congratulations.
Candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Science in Nursing and Masters of Science in Nursing, please rise. President Gutman, healthcare in this country is at a major turning point. Before you stands those who will shape the future of healthcare locally and globally. They will do that in practice, in policy, in laboratories, in leadership, and in science. Above all, they are the most trusted advocates who give voice to patients and their families and their communities. President Gutman, for the last time, as their dean, I present to you the best graduating nurses in the whole world.
Just as our dean, Tom Robertson, is celebrating his last year at commencement, so is our dean, Afaf Melis, our beloved dean. The dean who made Penn Nursing second to none in this country and the world for great nursing science and great patient care. Thank you, Afaf Melis. Stay up there. Wait. Graduates, your Penn education qualifies you to be the most caring and capable nursing professionals in the world. May you use these skills to bestow health and hope to all through every stage of life's journey. With the authority vested in me by the trustees, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to those degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the degree of the University of Pennsylvania.
I ask the candidates of the Raymond and Ruth Perlman School of Medicine to please rise to accept their degrees for the Doctor of Medicine, Master of Bioethics, Master of Public Health, Master of Science in Clinical Epidemiology, Master of Science in Translational Research, Master of Science in Health Policy Research. Madam President, I offer these candidates at the first medical school in the United States and the best medical school in the United States, who serve based on their science, humanity, and professionalism to take care of their citizens of the world.
Graduates of the great Perlman School of Medicine, may your hands heal, your minds find new ways to cure and care, and your hearts forever bring compassion and kindness to bear. With the authority vested in me by the trustees, I confer upon you, the great future healers of the world, the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to those degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Pennsylvania. Congratulations.
I ask the candidates from the School of Law for the degrees of Juris Doctor, Master of Law, and Doctorate of Juridical Science to please stand. These candidates are the lawyer leaders of today and tomorrow, having completed more dedicated public service and pursued more interdisciplinary study than any law school in the land. Madam President, I present to you the brilliant and socially committed School of Law graduates, the finest law school graduating class in the world.
Dean Fitz has served for 14 glorious years as Dean of our Penn Law School. He has made Penn Law the model of multidisciplinary legal education, pro bono work with the greatest faculty in the land. Let us join me in saluting Dean Michael Fitz, who moves on to a presidency of Tulane University. Graduates, our university motto wisely proclaims that laws without morals are useless. I know you will all do well, remembering what Penn Law taught you, that the highest calling of the legal profession is to do what is just. With the authority vested in me by the trustees, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to those degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Pennsylvania. Congratulations.
Madam President, on behalf of the Extraordinary School of Design, I ask the 279 candidates for the following degrees to rise. Master of Architecture, Master of City Planning, thinking of Terry Atkins, the Master of Fine Arts, Master of Science in Historic Preservation, Master of Landscape Architecture, and Master of Urban Spatial Analytics. These amazing artists, planners, researchers, designers, innovators, entrepreneurs, and problem solvers are already engaged in the urban agenda and ready to create just and resilient communities at home, wherever that is, and to all the known corners of the earth.
Graduates, cultivate beauty, create community, build harmony. May you always be inspired by the heritage of this beautiful campus and the education you have earned here. With the authority vested in me by the trustees, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to those degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Pennsylvania. Congratulations.
Yay!
Would the candidates from the Dental School for the degree of Doctor of Dental Medicine and the Masters of Science in Neurobiology please stand up? Madam President, it's a great privilege for me to present to you some of the finest future doctors, future dentists in the world, and some of the most caring, intelligent, and compassionate doctors that will be of the future. Madam President, thank you.
Graduates, oral health is fundamental to good health. May your Penn education and the Penn spirit of service enable you to bring smiles of health to patients around the world. With the authority vested in me by the trustees, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to those degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Pennsylvania. Congratulations.
I ask that the candidates for the degree of Veterinariae Medicinae Doctoris from the School of Veterinary Medicine please rise. Madam President, as they proudly wave the emblem of our profession, I am so thrilled to introduce to you some of the best that humanity has to give. We not only love our fellow humans, but we also love all the other living creatures in our world. This class is deeply committed to the health of all living things.
Graduates, all creatures, great and small, are in your care. Your vigilance and diligence keeps us safe, and the skills you have acquired here will sustain our helpmates and friends. May our gratitude and thanks follow you all the days of your lives. With the authority vested in me by the trustees, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to those degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Pennsylvania. Congratulations.
Will the candidates in the Graduate School of Education for the degrees Master of Science in Education, Master of Philosophy in Education, and the Doctor of Education please rise? Where are you? There they are. Madam President, it gives me great pleasure to present the candidates from the Graduate School of Education.
Andrew Porter, Dean Porter, is presiding over the last of the Penn commencements as dean. He is the dean who has catapulted GSE into the stratosphere of educational leadership with the greatest students and faculty in the land. Let us thank Dean Porter. Graduates, through education, all things are possible. By your work and future careers, may the possibilities multiply for all people everywhere to pursue their dreams. With the authority vested in me and by the trustees, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to those degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Pennsylvania. Congratulations.
Madam President, the candidates who are about to rise have, in addition to their coursework, invested more than 250,000 hours of professional service, compassion, and love to make for a better world. I ask the candidates for the Master of Social Work, the Master of Science in Nonprofit Leadership, the Master of Science in Social Policy, and the Doctor of Social Work to please rise.
Dean Richard Gellis has devoted 13 years to leading this school forward, being second to none in its civic engagement, in social work, social policy, and practice. I ask you all to join me in thanking Dean Gellis for all he has done for this wonderful school and university. Graduates, you know the measure of our greatness is in neither wealth nor arms, but in how we treat the most vulnerable among us. May justice light your path and equity await at the end of your journey. With the authority vested in me by the trustees, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to those degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Pennsylvania. Congratulations!
President Gutman, founded in 1959, the University of Pennsylvania's Annenberg School is ranked the #1 communication program in the nation. Our graduates go on to leadership positions in the teaching, study, and application of media and communication across the globe. As a PhD-only graduate program, I have no Masters of Communication students to present to you today. In place of that, I'd like to ask our over 120 undergraduate communication majors to please stand, and our PhD and master's students who will momentarily receive their degrees from the graduate faculties to please stand, and ask you and the Penn community to join me in congratulating them for jobs well done. Congratulations.
For Master of Arts, Master of Science, and Doctor of Philosophy, please stand. Madam President, on behalf of the Graduate Council of the faculties, representing the graduate groups from across the University of Pennsylvania, I'm honored to present to you these candidates who will extend the boundaries of knowledge and lead our communities and indeed our world through scholarship, teaching, research, and innovation.
Graduates, the road was long. The work was hard, but you have achieved the pinnacle of academic achievement. I applaud you for your extraordinary scholarship within your field of study, and with great pleasure, I greet you as fellow doctors of philosophy. With the authority vested in me by the trustees, I confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended by your faculty, admitting you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which pertain to those degrees, in testimony whereof you will receive the diploma of the University of Pennsylvania. Congratulations. We have reached almost the close of our ceremonies, and in one respect, the most important part, the closing credits. Permit me just a few additional moments and join me in recognizing all those whose efforts and sacrifices made this day of celebration possible. Graduates, join me in applauding the ultimate heroes, your parents. And let us not forget those very souls of patience and forbearance, the spouses and partners of our graduate and professional students. Here's to you. Great moments remind us of the great people in our lives who are not with us today. Let us say their names and thank them nonetheless. Here's thanks to those who we know are with us in spirit today. I know you also want to join me in saluting the remarkable women and men who help run our great university with extraordinary care and exceptional skill each and every day, 12 months of the year, Penn's talented and incredibly dedicated staff. Here's to you. Graduates, you have seen firsthand that our incredible faculty are among not only the finest minds, but also the finest mentors in the world. Please join me in applauding the Penn faculty for the honor they bring to their professions, the excellence they foster at Penn, and the difference they've made in all our lives. I am privileged finally to officially welcome our honorary degree recipients and all the members of the great class of 2014 into the amazing community of Penn alumni. I also salute, go ahead. I salute members of the classes of 1989 and 1964 here with us today celebrating their 25th and 50th reunions. As they so freely attest, there's no better color combination in the world than red and blue. This has been a wonderful and memorable occasion for us all. As a final favor, I ask that you please remain in place until the academic procession and the reunion classes have left the field and exit through the southwest gate, which is to the left of Whiteman Hall. Please rise now for the dismissal offered by our university chaplain, the inimical Reverend Chaz Howard. After the dismissal, I ask everyone to join in singing the Red and Blue, to be led by the Penn Glee Club. They will lead us so our song will be heard all the way to City Hall and beyond. Thank you all, and congratulations to everybody. You're wonderful.
As we leave this place, I pray that it's never lost on you that we've had the great privilege of studying and serving not only here at Penn, but also in the great city of Philadelphia, the birthplace of freedom. May you carry that freedom with you your entire lives, wherever your paths may lead. May you be free to be yourselves, your best selves, your true selves, without needing to pretend to be someone you're not for the sake of success. May you be free and courageous in innovation, free and generous with the care that you give. May you create and build and serve with a soulful and legendary artistic freedom. You see what I did there? And may you not only be free to follow your dreams and passions vocationally, but may you rest and play freely, laugh freely, as if every day were spring fling. Sort of. May you love freely without reservation and without fear. And now, after we sing the Red and Blue for the last time, you will be free to go. May we all be free as we go, and may we all go to free others. Amen.
All ye loyal classmates now in hall and campus through, lift